So I watched this video. It was a short, and it's like where the men stand in front of women and they pick women to date. Okay, and the women are holding balloons. So this video was posted by Zavi Moss, and I want to talk about um, how this guy is a classic example of a covert, grandiose narcissist. Okay, because I've dated a few grandiose, covert narcissists, and they literally have the same approach as he had when being when in a teachable moment, because he was having a teachable moment. Okay, to understand the line that he was walking, and the line that he was also crossing with his statement. Now, if you notice, he says she was triggered. Notice he focused on her reaction instead of thinking on her perspective. Okay? Instead of seeing if she had a point, he immediately went on the defense and then put the attention on her reaction. He tried to passively have people focus on the stereotype of black women being triggered and emotional. That's why he said, you are triggered. See, narcissists, they will drop little words to trigger other people, to dwell on a stereotype of you so that people will think that your personality is toxic when it's really they're the one with the toxic personality. Okay? All right. So if you notice, the very first thing that he mentioned was he did not want to date her over short hair. Now that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay? I've never heard anything like that. Like, you don't get one day because your hair too short for my taste. The fact that he did not consider that her hair might be shrunk because of her hair texture, or that she's on a journey of growing her natural hair for the first time. He might not consider that she just went natural. He may not consider that she may actually have had a hair problem where maybe her hair fell out. No one knows why someone's hair is shorter than the next person, or why someone's hair growth phase is slower than the next. It could be a medical condition. The point that I'm making is he pointed out the length of her hair as a problem in a room full of women with weave, long weave. So basically, he was saying to her, you would be acceptable if you somehow could fake hair length like the rest of these women are doing in this room. Because let's keep it real, it was obvious some of them had Indie Remy sew-ins and all that. I've seen enough sew-ins, I've seen enough to know when I see them. So basically he was lowering her value by the fact that she wasn't joining the hive. She wasn't being a baddie, if you want to call it that. So now some people are not going to agree with me on this. Okay? Some people are not going to agree with me on this. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't get on video. Because when black women expose narcissists, the narcissist community will attack the black woman because they think she's not protected. They will attack her hair, they will attack her genetics, her voice, everything, because they think she's not protected. Black women are very attacked by narcissists, everywhere and anywhere. So that's why I didn't get on this video, but I still want to have this discussion, because I'm not going to argue about my 4C hair. I'm not going to argue about my deep voice. I'm not going to argue about my bone structure. I'm not in the mood, and I'm not going to be considered triggered when I respond to that. So that's why I'm not on video. I'm not in the mood. I want to talk about the subject of this video. It's not about my genetics. The subject of this video is about the grandiose narcissist in that video, posted by Zyvi Moss. Okay, the fact that he didn't have an open discussion with her about her perspective, but he immediately wanted to talk about her emotions. He immediately wanted to have everyone focus on her reaction energy. And it was also to trigger her to react in a more louder way so she could be, so that he could character assassinate her through her emotions. Okay, he was basically passively moving the goalposts by trying to make everyone focus on her reaction. When he said, "You sound triggered," notice he said sound so that he would never say he said she was, even though that is what he was saying. Okay, he was trying to make everybody get to not think about the problem with what he said. Okay, the problem with what he said is that it was a cultural and also a disrespect for her ancestors. Some of our ancestors could not grow long hair. Some of us could not grow long hair fast, and that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Everybody's grow hair cycle is not the same. My daughter's hair grow way faster than mine, and so do my husband's. Period. So he was kind of still, in a way, insulting her genetic, okay, her genetics still, and he was insulting her ancestors. So he was basically saying, unless you can catch up with the baddies with hair length, you're not dateable to him, and that is just ridiculous. Because our ancestors were still getting married, even though they were shaved bald. In the early 1900s, women in Paris, white women were walking around with short hair, with short pin curls or whatever, and they were marrying rich men. There's white women right now married to black men, and they got short hair. They got short hair. So I think he was passively saying it was her texture too. Because I know for a fact there's not a black man out here turning down a date with a 3AC short haircut. They're not. I know this personally. Because when I had my hair short and a texturizer in it, black men was flocking to me. When I wear my hair short and I get a roller set and a gloss is put in, black men will walk up and say, "You got gorgeous hair," even though my hair is short. So the point that I'm making, he was trying to act like it wasn't her texture too, when it was. When it was. He knew that he couldn't say that directly because then his full-blown self-hate would come out. And here's another thing why he was a grandiose narcissist. You can't say something is not dateable, and that's exactly what you're showing up with. That is hypocritical, and it's narcissistic. I'm not going to say I'm not dating someone with your texture, your hair length, and I'm standing right there with it. And that's what she was saying, that he was hypocritical. He was negatively judging her for the very thing he's standing here with. I have dealt with narcissists who had the nerve to come down on me about my weight when they were sitting right in my face, obese. And I'm like, you're obese, but you want me. You think I need to lose weight, yet you need to lose weight. Narcissists don't see themselves. They don't see that they're hypocrites. And that's why she put it out there when she said, you're sitting there with coarse, short hair. Just like her. So if you don't, if you got a problem with short hair on a woman, you really should not be rocking short hair. And that's how I feel about it. I'm not going to say I don't want to date fat man and I'm sitting here fat myself. So this is why that guy is definitely a grandiose narcissist. And I noticed that he kept trying to keep his voice under hers so that she would sound like she was overreacting. So he kept trying to talk real soft. He kept trying to talk real soft so that he would seem like a civilized person, and all while trying to put the focus on her reaction. So it was emotional manipulation. I've been in that situation before. But see, I'm smart, and what I do is when I see somebody trying to move the goalpost and trying to poke at my reaction to make me get out of control while they try to maintain control, I will literally just walk away in mid conversation. And it triggers narcissists. Every time I do that to narcissists, they get so triggered. Because I don't return. I walk away instantly and I do not return. Okay? He was in a teachable moment, meaning this. There's a time and place to be talking about the length of a black woman's hair. We know that the black woman's growth cycle with her hair sometimes is challenging. We know this. Even trying to find the right products for our hair. Even trying to deal with growing hair in this effed up climate that's not good for our hair texture. We have different hair struggles than white women in trying to get length. It's hard for us to maintain moisture in bipolar weather that's going hot and cold, especially in the north, which makes our cycles bipolar. We go into slow hair growth cycles when it's not time to because the weather triggered it. So this is why black men need to stop talking with black women about hair length. And she's right. Stop talking to black women about hair. It's connected to genetics and culture. It's not the same as talking to a man about being short or tall. That's not connected to culture. That's not connected to your ancestors. That's not ancestral type of thing. Hair is. Hair can reveal who your ancestors were. So the point that I'm saying is that he was walking a line. He was walking a thin line with being disrespectful, insensitive, and acting like it's normal. This is why the black population is struggling with being able to do business, because we keep focusing on stuff that we shouldn't be focusing on. If you're trying to pick a partner, why are you even focusing on their hair length? Just because their hair is short don't mean that they can't have babies who grow long hair. Okay? These men are picking women to date to be possibly future wives. So they think if someone's standing there with short hair, that literally says whether their baby's going to have long hair. That is ridiculous. Okay? If they ever have a baby, their baby won't have long hair because you showed up with short hair. That's ridiculous. If that was the case, then my daughter should not have super long, fast growing hair faster than her dad. Because I don't have super long, fast growing hair, but she does. Okay. As I was saying, all right. There was a time and place for that. It was insensitive because the women beside her did not have her challenges with her hair length, nor her texture. So it was kind of like she was being singled out. She was being singled out, and it made her uncomfortable. Even though she was cool, she probably heard it 1,000 times, so that's why she was really unbothered, and she probably expected to be in that show where at least one black guy come with just focus on her hair, because she probably did it in the streets. It still was not the time or place. It's like somebody telling somebody, oh, you're fat in a room full of skinny people. It's toxic. Okay? It's toxic. All he had to do was consider the environment that she was in and say, you're not my type. Period. Period. But understand, all this judging a book by its cover the way black people do is exactly why we don't have that many millionaires. That's why we don't. We don't understand that relationships is also business. It's personal and business. And if you judging somebody by the cover all the time, then you might have blocked abundance. That person might have had something for you, and the creator was testing you to see if you was going to be, if you was going to be somebody that's all about the outside. See, angels come in anybody. Angels come in bodies that are mutilated, deformed, abused, battered, genetically challenged, hair challenged. Angelic energy comes in any type of body. And instead of rushing to say no about her hair, he should have tapped into her energy. I don't understand why black people are like no to each other all the time without ever assessing each other's energy. Knowing that relationships is still business. Knowing this. And it just cracks me up that he wanted hair length so bad that he was willing to take a lace front girl. He wanted a lace front girl in there rather than a short natural. That is just how much. He would rather take the fake than the real, all because of the length. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why I personally, I'm going to just keep it real with y'all. I'm very careful about what black Western man I choose to talk to. Because I don't see too many of them walking around with black women with afros from the 70s. I just don't see it. And I've been everywhere. I've been to different states, all the way to New England, and I just don't see it. I done been in many black bars and black nightclubs. I don't see it. I walked in black bars with a perfectly even afro, and not one black man spoke to me in there. And then I showed up a couple weeks later with 2-strand twists showing my whole length, hair stretched. And all of a sudden I got drinks being bought for me. Black men all at the bar sending me drinks. That really was a wake-up call. That was a rude awakening. Okay? How so many black men are still trying to not have their comfort disturbed when they're trying to hide their own self-hate about their texture. They don't want their texture in their face because it's triggering to them. So it's like, I don't want to date you because your 4C reminds me of my 4C. So if you can distract me from that, then I can date you or I can send you a drink. See, I'm a person where I trust nobody's research but my own. I've done my research. I purposely went to the same bars and nightclubs. I have friends who went with me, who will tell you, yes, she did. I went some weeks with my afro out, perfectly shaped, looking like from the 70s. And I went some weeks with my hair 2-strand twist, and it was a totally different type of treatment. So what I'm saying is that woman should have had her self-esteem that was growing with her 4C hair, her natural hair journey, protected by that black man, even if he didn't want her. He shouldn't have said it just to protect her self-esteem so that none of the other women would feel more validated by their baddie lace fronts or by their sew-ins and not feel like they had some sort of one-up on her, because we know women could be competitive. He needed to keep the competitive energy fair in there and not tip the scales by picking over something that's connected to her genetics, her culture. This is a deep conversation. I just happened to see the video and I was like, woo, I can see I have narcissist energy radar now. I can look at videos, hear people speaking, I can sense their energy through the video and sense like, how they're saying, how they're communicating with other people, and it's like, sounds like manipulation. And that's what he was doing. He wanted to everybody focus on her emotions rather than her perspective, while making himself look innocent and just on her emotions. He could have joined, he could have said, you know what, you do have a point, because I do have why did he agree and say, I do have the same hair as her, and I do have short hair like her? He tried to act like that wasn't a fact. He like totally talked around that. And he could have said, well, yeah, I'm aware that people attack black women about their hair. So we shouldn't be, that's a common thing. That's commonly attacked. We know this. We didn't heard chia pet. We didn't heard nappy headed. We didn't heard coon, negative auntie statements because of the afro hair. All type of negative comments about black women's hair. We know that it's out of control. We know that it's a toxic trend of disrespecting our hair, our natural hair. So this is why it needs to stop being the main feature every time we talk to each other. Like, why does our natural hair gotta be the subject every time we see each other? Our lace fronts is not the subject. Our hot presses is not a subject. Why? Like, why is that not? Do you know how many I'm gonna tell y'all, so many black men, the moment they come up to me, they literally check my hair. I'm looking at their eyes. It's like they're literally dissecting my hair. Black people are obsessed with picking partners who they think they might bless their babies one day with hair closer to Europeans or Indian. Monitoring each other's root growth at first sight, to see if they get together one day, have a baby, what would their baby hair texture be like? And it's just like, wow. I'm picking this up intuitively when some black men walk up and be like, how you doing or whatever. And I notice each one want to talk about my hair. Oh, they look at my hair and be like, oh, you're beautiful. And I'm like, would you have said that if it was out in an afro? Would you? Because I want black men to know that I have been around white men who have actually asked me, can I touch your hair? Your hair looks so soft. I've had my daughter's father unable to keep his hands out of my hair. I have to actually tell him, you keep on grabbing my hair. My hair is fragile. The point that I'm making is that white men are extremely fascinated by the black woman's afro hair. So I'm not trying to be ignorant, but black women don't have to settle for this hair toxicity in the black community. They could go elsewhere. And the black man who don't like 4C short hair, he could go elsewhere. Why don't everybody just go elsewhere and just shut up about each other's genetics and hair? Just go elsewhere. Like, I don't understand that. Hi, everybody. Did somebody say? I just don't understand that. If you say you're not attracted to 4C hair, good. Just shut up and go get something else. Mature grown-ups know how to do this. We know how to do this. We know that you never say out loud that you didn't choose somebody according to some genetics. That is so taboo and disrespectful. I'm not going to say I'm not choosing you because of your Jewish nose. That would be disrespectful. Because of your nose, and we know the noses is in the Jewish community. That's disrespectful. I'm not going to say to an Indian woman with the Indian women nose in a room full of white women nose, I'm not going to say to the Indian woman, you're okay. If I was a man dating, I wouldn't say you're okay, but the nose. Because we know that would be disrespectful, because we know how Indian people have the hump on their nose, and how they're all is getting a nose job is common in India because of the insecurities with the nose. So why would I even talk about that? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say to if I was a man, I wouldn't say to a white woman, "Oh, I don't want to date you because you got a flat butt," and she in a room full of black women with booties. Disrespectful. Disrespectful. And I consider that to be a covert attack. That's going to make everybody in the room with booties look at that white woman's butt and they all feel privileged. They all feel extra special. You know, let me tell you, I canceled, I got rid of a doctor over that. There was an eye doctor I had been seeing. And I changed eye doctors and said, I don't want that eye doctor anymore. And they said, why? I said, because he's not respectful. I went to an eye doctor, and I took my daughter, and he checked both of our eyes, and he had the audacity to say, out of nowhere, she's the one with the beautiful eyes. And I almost slapped the shit out of that doctor. Because I said, let me tell you something. I know for a fact my eyes is beautiful. Now you up in this mother effer lying. And I can understand why he said that. Okay? Because I always get that I have beautiful eyes. I've been getting that since I was a kid. But then I looked at my daughter's eyes and I realized he said it because she has blue, green, brown eyes. So basically he's one of those white guys that Jane Elliott talks about. Thinks that their genetics is better than ours. So my big puppy dog eyes, I literally have pupils big as a stuffed animal puppy dog. And my eyes are really brown and honey coated and glossy, have very glossy honey eyes. Okay, they look like they're literally marbles. But they weren't good enough, and I have cat-shaped eyes. I have eyes identical to Jasmine from Aladdin. They weren't beautiful enough because they were not of the white people's eyes. Dominant blue, green. My daughter's was. So he was protecting. He was covert jealous of my eyes. If I still have beautiful eyes in spite of my daughter has their eyes. So he wanted me to feel like I was just a finalist in the eye competition. Because I don't have their eye color. And I was just like, you know what, F you. I got rid of that doctor just like that. And I could tell that it triggered my daughter because she felt like it was like a passive attack on her mom. But she was only a teenager, so she felt like what could she do? This is a whole grown man. I almost told him to kiss my butt. But that was an experience I never forgot because wasn't nobody talking about whose eyes was beautiful or anything. He just said that out of nowhere. But that just goes to show just how people love to pick over black women's genetics and love to compare us. Love to see how we match up to everybody else's genetics. And it's literally disturbing our peace. We just want to be at peace with growing our self-love. Like, I feel like I don't want nothing from this world. I don't care to get nothing out this world. What I want and every black woman want is to age in peace. Have their body shape in peace. Yes, there's some black women who are inverted triangles like Queen Latifah. She's an inverted triangle. Okay, inverted hourglass triangle. She's not a full hourglass. But we want to be able to have that body shape in peace. We want to have our texture in peace. We want people to talk about other stuff with us. You know, come up and say, tell us we got beautiful voices. Tell us that we're beautiful. Why do we have to be busted down to something about us that's not beautiful and something about us that is beautiful that shouldn't be beautiful about us? Why do we have to be busted down to that stuff? Like, oh, I'm so shocked that you have healthy 4C here. That type of reaction, like, Oh, your 4C hair is so gorgeous. Like there's no such thing as gorgeous 4C hair. It's so toxic, y'all, that I get like anxiety now when random black people walk up to talk to me because I'm like, I wonder if the first thing they're gonna say is something about my body shape, my hair. What's it gonna be? Because I know it's coming out. I know it's coming out. It's just it's so out of control. I hardly ever meet other black people that want to talk about what we can create together. I don't know where we're so obsessed with proving that we in the beauty competition, that we're making it in the beauty competition. What the heck? It's like wow, y'all. You know, I feel sorry for the next generation because they're gonna have to deal with all this toxicity. The little kids that's grown up, they're gonna have to deal with the kids that's born from the generation of Instagram baddie world. They're gonna have to deal with parents of that nature, and it's like God help them, you know, God help them because they're going to be pushed to be so artificial just to get respect in their family. It's like, wow, y'all. But I was real shocked by that video. And it's just, for me, even when I looked at the way he was dressed, it was like, nah. I feel like the colors he was wearing in that video, that didn't really go with him. Like, I'll be wondering why African American people are wearing white all the time. That don't really go with you. I ain't trying to be smart, but white, the color white was something that the people in the 1800s, the Europeans was wearing. Like the white porcelain, the white flowers, the white bustiers they was wearing, the white dresses. That type of stuff, that was them. If anybody look at the 1800s, during the time after the Civil War, Emancipation Proclamation and stuff, the African Americans, our ancestors, were not walking around in the color white. We were sticking to the traditional colors of our Native American roots, Blackfeet, I think Apache, I think that's what it's called, and Navajo, and Africa. So I find that he needs some more work on working on bringing out the love for his culture. So that's why I'm not surprised he wasn't really drawn to her. He didn't even look like he was into his culture by the colors he chose. Because if he was, he would have chose a royal blue jacket, and he might have had a green underneath, a green shirt underneath, or something of that nature. He need a fashion consultant and talking about the length of somebody's hair. Because I'm good at fashion. I could take anybody in the store and I can make over somebody's whole fashion wardrobe and their mouth will hit the floor. That's something I'm naturally gifted in. That is something I'm naturally gifted in. I have literally worked in retail before, and I've had people come in and be like, I don't know what to buy myself. And I'll be like, I got you. By the time they went to that cashier machine, they had over $200 of clothes in that cart that they actually loved. And I've had people say, how did you know this would look good on me, these colors? Because I could see people's tones, the deep tone and the cool tones. Not everybody can see that when they look at people. Can tell whether someone has deep tones or cool tones, or what part of the world most of their genetics come from, so they know what colors to wear. But I can see that. And no, that shirt he was wearing, the blue wasn't light enough and it wasn't dark enough, and the shirt that he was wearing, it's a no against his dark skin. No. He was better off with maybe a mint green or a lime green underneath with a navy blue blazer. A royal blue, not navy blue. Navy blue would have made him look like he was going to a funeral. He needed to wear royal blue. uh, he looked like he put something together that was in his wardrobe already, frankly. And his hairline was too high. Whoever cut his hairline, whoever did his fade line, because I used to wear my hair in the same style he got, and I used to pay over $100 for my haircut because I used to go to Grandiose. I think that's what it was called, in Grandiose. Grandiose is one of the best well-known salons out here. $100 for my haircut. His fade is too high. Where the shaver goes in hard at, it's way too above the ear. Way too. It's like all the way where it's almost at the above his eyebrow. That's too high. Somebody jacked up his haircut too. But if somebody would have told him that, he would have been like, stay in a woman's place or whatever. And he looked like he sponge rolled his hair. I mean, if he here to find a woman because he got money, why didn't he have anybody finger coil him? Why didn't he have somebody from Africa give him a rod set on that hair? It looked like he literally had somebody just take a sponge and go in a circle in his hair. He has a cheap haircut. That blazer definitely looked cheap. I say about $50 at the most for that blazer he got on. Okay? And he has an open collar shirt under the blazer, but his neck is with nothing on his chest. Tacky. Straight up tacky. I'm just saying, y'all. I used to, in middle school, I went to fashion design classes. I used to make clothes, sweaters, sweatshirts, blanket. Like, I was a seamstress. I was a really good seamstress in my teenage years. So I can look at somebody and be like, no. He needed at least one piece of gold on. He has a beautiful tone to his skin. Somehow he thinks that white works with his tone. No. White is a color that works with people with cooler tones. Light-skinned people and people that have a lighter tone to their skin where they don't have dark spots, they have light spots or light freckles. Then a white would have been good. He was better off actually with gold and royal blue. He was better off with that. He should have wore gold and royal blue. He would have looked really good in that. He could have even had on a gold blazer with a royal blue shirt underneath with a gold chain. Like medium length since he got a bulky neck. So he could have had that on. He would have looked pretty good with that. I'm just saying, y'all. I feel like this. People better be careful about critiquing other people's looks if you don't want critique. Because that's how it goes. When you got something to say about how somebody else look, somebody going to have something to say about how you look. So it's better to say something nice about how somebody look or don't say nothing at all. I'm surprised. And when I look at his genetic, he's definitely got some Nigerian and African in him, definitely. So why the heck is he wearing those colors? Shocking. Because his skin color is not too far from mine. And that blue is not bright enough for his skin color, and it's not dark enough. He thought he could rock that blue, but it wasn't light enough and it wasn't dark enough. No. Whenever you pick colors to wear, they should enhance the aura of your tones. If they flatten your aura, it means you can't wear those colors. Like for me, if I wear navy blue, it will flatten my red tones. It will dull my red tones. And then I will look like I'm dead. Okay? So I can't wear that. If I wear too much white, then it overpowers my red tones, and then people really don't see my red tones. The white is like what they see, and I don't have enough lightness in my, I don't have enough light skin brown in my tones for the white to actually look good on me. I have too much honey caramel, and red to my skin for white to actually, for a lot of white to actually look good on me. I think people need to start taking pictures of themselves in their clothes, in the sunshine, so they can see if they should be wearing those clothes. Like they have to stand in front of a really bright mirror, you know, like the brightest mirror in the store, and then hold the clothes to their skin, especially to like their wrist, the part under their wrist, the skin color under the under part of their wrist, or the part that's in the middle of their arm, with the arm bend, and see if it brings out the tone there. So when I hold white right there, for me, no, it almost looks like it almost looks like I should be a white woman wearing it. But the rest of my skin is not is complementing the white. So even though it might look good when it's in the middle part of my arm, the rest of my arm is not that dark, it's not that light. So I might be able to wear a bracelet to wrap around my arm in that section, a white bracelet, or a silver bracelet to wrap around on that part of my arm where it's light at, but it would not go with the rest of my arm. Y'all, I'm trying to explain it. So I'm just saying, dude needed a lesson in color matching with his tones. That's why y'all, when I wear colors on this channel, y'all stay saying in the comments, that color looks so good on you, or that shirt, woo, child, that color look good, because I know what colors to pick. And when I go shopping, I actually have a list of colors, the only colors that I wear, because I know that those colors are going to enhance my aura. So even if I wear a black shirt, I know that I need to have something on, jewelry on, that would enhance my aura. Otherwise, the black is going to dull me. So I would wear possibly gold jewelry or red jewelry, or I may have a red necklace on top of the black shirt, so that some of the black is in the background of my aura. It's not overpowering my aura of my red tones. It's not overpowering. All right, y'all, I gotta go. That video, y'all might want to watch it. It was posted by Zazie, I think Zazie Moss. I also find it interesting about that video is that he didn't want to hear a woman's perspective about hair. I'm finding it so weird that we're living in a world now where the male population is like, we always have the last word, we're always right. And if you try to say you're right, then you're emotional, you're a bitter, angry, triggered black woman. I find that toxic. You know, there's a lot of men saying they ain't Christian, but they sure acting like the Christian slave master. Like they're always right. They always got to have the last word because they're the man. That sounds like Christian slave master mentality. amongst the slaves, because that's not the energy he was in with his white wife. I don't know why people don't realize that the Christian white man in the 1800s was not in the energy that they're in today with their white wives. They weren't. Their white wives were still running some things. And it's amazing that it's so, the Christian Bible on marriage has been so warped and distorted to cater to narcissism that it makes some people not want to be Christian, scared that they're going to be subjected to the narcissism. The Empress was always somebody that got what she wanted. So I don't understand why people say the man always had the last word. No, he did not. No, he did not. He did not have the last word on the home of decorating the home. He did not have the last word on what foods would be served on what days. He did not have the last word on the style of clothing she would wear, just the length of it. Okay? Just whether it was too vulgar or too sexy. That's it. But he didn't have the last word on whether she could wear certain colors. He didn't have the last word about her hair. The emperor never told the empress, this is how you have to wear your hair. That is like but that is like so ridiculous that people think that a man today has the right to tell an empress how to wear her hair. He might have said, well, as an empress, you're supposed to actually make sure that your hair is done and healthy. But even in the 1800s, there was queens getting married, and their hair, some of their hair was only to their hairline. Curly hair that was maybe only to their hairline. But, I'm talking their chin line or their shoulders. I'm just really shocked, because see, once upon a time, a woman who showed her neck more was considered gorgeous. So having short hair up to your chin, when you have a long neck as a woman, it was considered really gorgeous to the kings. Okay, a swan neck. But the women who had shorter necks, of course, they would wear their hair longer because they didn't have a long enough neck for it to look like a peacock when their hair is short or pinned up. So the point that I'm saying is, I really wish men would stay out of women's hair business. The kings of the old days would just say no. They would walk down and just say no, they didn't want that person. If it was about hair, then that, or something that might be about the person's culture, that was something they would discuss with them in private. Because the king did not want to come off to his kingdom as insensitive and as arrogant. So often that was stuff that was discussed pretty much behind closed doors. I just hope the black community should start keeping their issues with each other's genetics and culture, start keeping it inside the house and off the internet. Y'all, I'll see y'all later. Have a good day, everybody.